Hey guys, welcome back to the Team Fortress 2 Weapons Tier List. This is the third and final part where I'll be covering Medic, Sniper, and Spy. I just wanted to say thank you so much for the support and discussions being had in the comments section. I recently just surpassed 100 subscribers, and that's actually pretty awesome. I was thinking of what I was gonna do moving forward, and I'm thinking about doing weapon reviews next. Um, But yeah, let me know what you guys think I should do next in the comments. But we're gonna do medic first, and so I'm gonna start with the stock medigun. It's the best one. Everybody knows that. Uber charge is the strongest thing in the entire game, because you're just literally invincible. Um, I think the second best medigun. I think the rest of the mediguns are definitely good, but stock one is easily the best in every situation, except for maybe the vaccinator, which should be nerfed. Really quick, I want to just bring up that nerf is not S tier and buff is not F tier. E is the lowest tier and A is the highest tier, but these are weapons that I feel like should be changed. I'm I'll be completely honest, I'm copying off of Zesty's tier list for this format, but I think it's a really good format that works. So I'm just gonna keep using it. I don't know, call me unoriginal, but I think this is a really good way to do a weapons tier list. So whatever. But yeah, the vaccinator, basically mini Uber charges that make you effectively invincible because you can out heal the damage being done to you depending on like the resistance selected. It makes you pretty much invincible to soldier, pretty much invincible to demo man, invincible to heavy, basically. Just really insane. And there is an argument that can be made that it is like, so if I were putting it like with the rest of the weapons, I'd put it here in A tier. And I think that there could be an argument that the Vaccinator is stronger than the stock minigun, just because you have Uber charges ready basically all the time. And it's not like you're gonna do huge pushes with this thing or anything, but it's good for like just basically any scenario you find yourself in. But the Vaccinator is just insane. It's just an overpowered version of the battalion's backup, honestly. And it's a shame because it's a really cool weapon. I like the idea of like mini Uber charges you have, but I don't know. I feel like this thing should be reworked or just toned down a little bit because it's a little infuriating. No, it's totally infuriating to fight against, especially when like the medic who's healing like with this thing is like pocketing a sniper for some reason. I think that is the most toxic thing you can do in the entire game. Vax heal a sniper, especially a high hour sniper, but it's just ridiculous how this thing honestly insane. But yeah, Medigun, pretty self-explanatory. The base Medigun is probably the best one. The stock Medigun. I mean, I don't know why I said base, but yeah, no, yeah. Um, then I think the Quick Fix and Kritzkrieg are a step below the stock Medigun. Honestly, the Quick Fix could go up here. Kritzkrieg is probably the worst Medigun just because it gives you no like defensive utility. It doesn't make you invincible, no increased healing rate or anything. But it's still really powerful. It's good for pub stomping. And really quick, this is based off of casual mode. I have very little competitive experience and don't really engage in that side of the community. Um, but yeah, this is basically just casual mode. But yeah, I think the quick fix is pretty dang good too. Honestly, it could go up here. This is my personal favorite medigun, because it lets you keep most of your team alive at the same time. And the Uber charge effect is really powerful. I think people underrate the knockback immunity quite a bit. And of course it's nice that you can mirror the blast jumps and shield charges of your patient, but that can mess you up a little bit sometimes. I've been launched into pits by overconfident soldiers on my team many times. It's honestly painful whenever it happens. But yeah, the quick fix is very good. Kritzkrieg is the fun one that's not quite as good as the rest of them, and this is the overpowered one that should be nerfed. Primary weapons next, syringe gun. It works. Honestly, I'll put it in E tier. And I'm not putting it in buff tier because it's a stock weapon, so you can't really buff it. I mean, you can, but like, I don't know. What do you think? Stock syringe gun belongs down here, that's what I think. Probably medic's weakest weapon, but it's fine. It's designed to be that way. The Bloodsager is okay, and I think the Overdose is pretty good. But the Crusader's crossbow is so good that it completely invalidates the other three. So even though the Overdose is really good for like speedy stuff, like getting out, getting up to the front line to heal people, even though the Bloodsager is good for like keeping yourself alive in this situation where you need to fight somebody, the crossbow will always reign supreme. And I'm pretty sure it can out heal the Medigun, like because the burst healing is so insane. But yeah, just the crossbow is just there's never a reason not to use it. And it's really freaking fun too. So I don't think it belongs up here. It's perfectly fine and it's really good. And the damage on it's pretty good too. It's just like not amazing. And you're medic, so you're not going for kills. But yeah, melee weapons next. I'm gonna put the Uber Saw up here. This is the meta. I might actually move the quick fix down real quick, just like to show the meta for medic. Everybody and their aunt knows that this is the medic meta. It's pretty boring, if I'm being honest, that this is like the one that everybody uses, but yeah. But I'm gonna move the quick fix back up. I'm gonna move it below these two. But like, yeah, the Uber Saw is just the in the event where you need to hit somebody with your melee weapon, which is actually quite often, because people are like just focusing you down so hard. This thing will just give you that extra Uber charge, and it's pretty good, pretty dang useful. It's really good against spies because you can get like 50% Uber if you hit both of your swings. It's just good. Honestly, I don't have a lot to say on it. It's just good. And the Amputator is really good too. I think this is the only one that competes with the Uber Saw, but it's still a step below the Uber Saw. The healing effect is really good. Um, it is. It can be a good strategy to just be that one medic who spams the taunt to give everybody around you that healing effect, because I'm pretty sure it heals at the same rate as the stock Medigun, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this is the only one that can really compete with the Uber Saw, and it's just good. The Solemn Vow I might put here too in B tier, but like it's just outclassed by these two. Seeing enemy health is useful. It's really useful if you're running a syringe gun so you can like see who you can pick off faster. But I might move it down here just because it's not as useful. But it's definitely outclassed by these two, especially the Uber Saw. But yeah, the Bone Saw is a stock syringe gun situation where it literally is outclassed by everything. And the Vita Saw, honestly, it's kind of useless. But I don't know why they designed this weapon around like, oh, it like I don't know why it rewards you for dying. They should give like the I like the organ harvesting idea, but they should make it do something while you're alive. Like the organs should like maybe give you like a permanent heal rate increase just by like a little bit. Kind of like do something like the Islander has where it just gives you like a minor stat boost for each one you have. And I think that's fine. I don't know. I want the Vitasaw to be changed. I don't think it's in buffed here because it works fine. I put the Natasha and Sandman in buffed here because the slow effect is bugged. But looking back, I got a couple comments talking about the Natasha. I'm going to just bring that up real quick. Yeah, I want to retcon that, and I think it's a perfectly fine minigun, but I also just think it sucks. Kind of like objectively, I think it's the worst minigun. But yeah, I'll probably redo that tier list sometime in the far future. But yeah, that's what I think about Medic. So I think this is pretty agreeable overall. But and really quick, I just want to go back to this. This does not mean that the Vaccinator is better than the stock Medigun. It just means that it's needs to be nerfed. But it so like in reality, I'd put it here on the tier list, but it needs to be nerfed. So let's move on to Sniper. So up next we got Sniper, and I'm gonna start with the. I'm not gonna go into the discussion on like Sniper needs a nerf, Sniper is overpowered because I don't think I'm qualified to talk about that. He would probably benefit from some readjustment, but I'm not gonna talk about that here. But I'm just gonna start with the stock Sniper rifle. which is overall just the best for just any situation. But it is outclassed a little bit by the Bizarre Bargain. Where are you? Right here. And honestly, this thing is just a direct upgrade if you can confidently get two headshots, and that's pretty easy if you got the skill to back it up. So why not just use the Bizarre Bargain if it just gives you just free speed on your charge rate? And I think it should be nerfed. So like let's just talk about like this kind of like snowballing weapons real quick. So like I'm gonna talk about like the airstrike, for example. So like it gives you more rockets with every kill, but at the same time, it still holds you back a little bit by having that damage nerf and that blast radius nerf. The Bizarre Bargain does not have any of that, and it's just a direct upgrade after a while. After getting two headshots, it's identical to stock, and then after three, it is a direct upgrade. So I think it should have like a damage nerf, or like a body shot damage nerf, or something, just something, anything. But yeah, sniper rifle's very good, and this is also just better. Other primary weapons, I'm gonna put the Machina and the Hitman's Heatmaker down here. I do think that they are a step below the stock sniper rifle, but I still think that they're pretty dang good. Um, I'm not really sure what to say about them. This thing reveals your location to just like the Machina, it just reveals your location to everybody once you miss a shot. And this also reveals your location to everybody once you get that focus meter charged up. But the extra damage on this thing is pretty nice, and the the focus effect is really powerful, but still, like, they're revealing your location to everybody, which is one of Sniper's greatest strengths, which I honestly think should just, like, really quick, I do think that tracers on every sniper rifle, whether it be like the classic has or not, would benefit Sniper a little bit, just like by bringing him down to everybody else's level. But yeah, um, the tracers on these things do make them worse than the other two, but still, yeah, it's fine. They're perfect. Let me know what you think about these two. I don't use them nearly enough to know like their true potential. They could be up here in A tier for all I know, but I think that they're probably a step below the rest. And I'm also gonna put the Huntsman in this tier. It's good, but it's objectively worse than the sniper rifle most of the time because it's a projectile and it does less damage at full charge, but it's still pretty good. It's definitely the most fun primary weapon for sniper, but yeah, yeah, you know. And the other two bad sniper rifles, I'm using air quotes here, bad, they're not bad, but they're just underwhelming. Is the City Sleeper and the Classic. Not a lot to say on these two. No headshots, but it's a pretty good support weapon. And this thing basically just handicaps you, like, in every aspect. But it's still really satisfying to use. It's really fun to use. But, yeah. Those are the primaries. Let me know what you think in the comments about some of these. These placements might be a little bit controversial, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to go on to the secondaries. I think Girardi is one of the strongest items in the entire game. Just letting your teammates do more damage without fall off is insane. And I don't think it's quite in nerf territory. It's very good, and I think it's perfectly fine the way it is. But yeah, what's broken is the Bushwhacker. Sniper has no business one-shotting people at close range when he can theoretically do it with his primary weapons at any range. It's sort of like the Spy and the Diamondback, how Spy just has no business doing that much damage to people at that far away. So, yeah, just why? Why is it like this? Why does Sniper have this? But yeah, anyways, the SMG is good. Probably not. It's not as good as Girardi, but it's good. And the Cleaner's Carbine is underwhelming, but it's still pretty good. The Crikey meter, the mini crits, are really good on the Bushwhacker and the Huntsman. So that's a pretty fun loadout to use. But yeah, just overall, that's what I think about the like secondaries and the backpacks. I think the Danger Shield is really annoying. I don't like it. But also it just does not benefit you that much. And if a pyro gets close to you, you should be dead anyways, because you're a sniper.
So why does he have this? It's stupid. And the same with the Razorback, which I actually do think is better because it just turns Spy off, like it just turns off backstabs, and it's good because you don't have to worry that much. But Spy's still gonna kill you with his revolver if he gets up close to you, and it's really just a dumb weapon overall. But like, yeah, it's nice just like because it makes you basically backstab proof. And yeah, and I think the Cozy Camper's okay. Um, the passive healing effect is nice, and the knockback res is okay, and the flinch res is pretty good. But that's about it. And I think Sniper's worst weapon is the Tribalman Shiv. Because these two are just better, and they're just reliable. And the Bushwhack is overpowered, so. But yeah, the freaking Tribalman Shiv, it just does like basically no damage. And the bleed effect is useless because like why not just do 65 damage in one swing, then do like I think it's like 33 damage and then bleed, which adds up to like 80 or something. But like the people who use this thing like to go, oh, well, actually, the bleed damage adds up to more damage overall in one swing than the stock kukri. But it's like, no, just like, why not just swing twice and kill somebody, and then instead of swing twice and then wait for somebody to die? It's just stupid. And the Sean Shaw is interchangeable with the kukri at this point. Um, but yeah, that's what I think about snipers' weapons. Let me know what you guys think in the comments because I think some of these might be controversial. But this is kind of agreeable, I think, but I'm not sure. So let's move on to Spy.
So finally, we're doing Spy. I'm gonna start with his knives. The stock knife is good. It's just good. It just does what it needs to do. But like, there's other options that just benefit you after a stab, so it just doesn't leave you vulnerable. And I might, yeah, the knife goes up here, I'd say. Just like the kunai and the big earner, especially, both of those. They just give you better like things to do. Like you just have, so like you have the extra health. You just have a flat 125 health with this one. Why not use a knife that just benefits you after getting that stab? But the stock knife is still really, really good. But I do feel like it leaves you vulnerable once you get a stab, and you can't, and like unless you keep getting stabbed, like you don't have the speed boost to help you get another one. You don't have the health buffer from the kunai to like keep you out of there. But yeah, the kunai I think is bordering on nerf tier, personally. It basically just turns you into a tank after one stab, and like these spies, they can just keep getting these stabs, and they just practically are invincible. It's really, really frustrating to fight because it just feels like they can never die as long as they keep preying on your teammates. Um, this is the pub stomping weapon of the game. It's a little outrageous sometimes. I am tempted to put it up here, but I'm not sure how people would feel about that. So I'm gonna just play it safe and put it here at the top of A tier. I'd say that this is Spy's strongest weapon overall. The Big Earner is my personal favorite knife for Spy. It could go. These three are the best ones. I don't think they're not in any particular order, but I do think the Kunai is better than these two. These two are interchangeable in my eyes. This thing does leave you vulnerable to a lot of things. You can be one shot by a ton of things now, but the speed boost is just so powerful. It lets you get these crazy chain stabs. It lets you trick stab better because you move fast, and it messes with people's muscle memory because like they're used to a spy moving at this speed, so they know to turn and face them at this speed, but they don't. It messes people up because like the spy can just outrun how they have like their muscle memory. You know what I mean? Like it lets you trick stab better. It lets you just keep getting stabs, and it also lets you run away better. So it's good for getting a high priority pick and then getting out. It's just really good. It's my favorite knife. One of my favorite weapons in the entire game. Definitely. I think the Spicicle is good. It could go up here. I think it's in B tier. Honestly, the knife could go here. The Spicicle could go here. I honestly don't know where to put the knives because they're all super good. Um, I'm gonna put these all in A tier though. I might move the stock knife down. I don't know. I'll come back to it. If I run out of room, I'll probably move them a little bit. But yeah, the stock knife and the Spicicle is good. Um, Pyro is your hard counter, and it kind of nullifies that a little bit. It doesn't let you stab once you get set on fire, but it lets you get away. It's just good. It's good for gun spy loadouts, but it's just decent, you know? I'm gonna put it below the big earner though. The your eternal reward is probably the worst knife, but it's still pretty good. I don't like the cloak drain penalty, and disguises are just no longer disposable. It makes your cloak weaker, but your disguise is stronger. And yeah, it's just good. I like it. It's all right. It's just definitely a step below the rest of them, but not by much. It could honestly go up here, but like worse than the rest of them. Um, but yeah, these aren't ordered except for the kunai, by the way, which is definitely the top one. But yeah, I'm gonna keep the your eternal reward down here. Let me know what you think about the knives in particular. Spy mains, I want your opinion on this. I'm gonna get the red tape recorder out of the way. E tier, it's almost useless because just use the stock sapper. And yeah, nothing to say about these two. Just use the stock sapper because the red tape recorder is worse. Watches. Um, I think stock is probably the best one. It really depends on the map, whether you're using stock or the cloak and dagger. I personally use the cloak and dagger more, but if you're on a map with a lot of ammo packs and a lot of players dying in the same area, stock is pretty good, probably better. Um, Not a lot to say on these two. I think the Dead Ringer is probably the worst watch just because you can't cloak right out the gate. Actually, no, because the freaking I don't know. All three of these, it's like a shield situation with Demo Knight. Um, they're all good, all of them. And I don't know what I was thinking when I just said that this is the worst watch because this is all the ones that the spies use with the kunai. Um, no, they're all good. They're all great. Let me know what you think on the watches. I'm gonna put them all in the same tier. Um, yeah. So next I'm gonna do the stock revolver. I think it's really good, but if you're like, it's good for like gun spy and also like protecting yourself. But the Lestrange, I don't know how it's pronounced by the way. I'm just gonna call it the Lestrange. It's outclassed a little bit by the Lestrange because just it just gives you more cloak and more cloak on hit, and the damage penalty is a bit. It's impactful, but it's not too impactful. Like you can still get kills with this thing perfectly fine, but the revolver's like really good. And but the Diamondback is like broken good. I talked about this a little bit when I covered the Bushwhacker. Like, I think this thing should have the damage fall off effect on crits like the Ambassador has, which I'm gonna put in B tier. I think the Ambassador's all right. I'll talk about that in a sec. But the Diamondback, it's interesting because it's the most overpowered spy weapon that I see nobody using. Um, but yeah, this thing should be nerfed a little bit. I think it should have like the crit damage fall off like the Ambassador has. And yeah, honestly, not a lot to say about it. It's just like I think people can generally agree that this thing is a little busted and can be brought back down. And the Enforcer is just a worse revolver. The damage piercing I think is bugged. Um, just the slower fire rate. It's not terrible. It's just kind of bad. But like you can still use it perfectly fine. Honestly, not a lot to say about it. But this is what I think about Spy's weapons. And yeah, I think that concludes the tier list series. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. And I'm gonna move on to other stuff now. But if you have any suggestions for future videos I can make, just leave them in the comments and I'll let you guys know. Thank you for watching. Comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. And I'll see you next time.